Uh, Hi guys, so I thought I'd bring to you a different type of video. I know I haven't been live streaming a lot, but that's just because I've been trying to get stuff done for the upcoming months in October and November because of the fact I'm not going to be around to be able to do anything. So I've been trying to get stuff put together for that. Uh, so today I thought I'd go over some of the things for the new Demon Hunter stuff that's coming out. So, okay. Apparently I cannot. So, for those of you that might not know, I'm a big fan of the Demon Hunter class, and in this upcoming expansion, or in this upcoming patch, 10.2, Demon Hunters are seeing a sort of a little rework. It looks like. This is on the PTR. This is the Vengeance spec tree, and it looks like we're going to be seeing some different points of interest. The tree is definitely being reworked. If you haven't seen my coverage of the new tier set coming out, the current tree that we have to work with for Vengeance at least is up and on that. Also, I will flip back and forth between both the PTR and the uh, retail for you here. But without further ado, let's jump into this video. So, as we can see, one, this is getting a major rework. Now, like, you're seeing a modified build that I usually used for my raid setup. As you can see, there are definitely things that as it sits, that I'm not taking anymore. Primarily because, well, now they made it to where we can sort of acquire some of our abilities that we may want without having to go down some of the messy routes that we need to take. So, as a bird, I would like to try to completely go to nothing to show you what a Havoc player will seemingly start out with, and then sort of talk about the build that I would probably recommend. Alright, so as a Havoc, now instead of having, strictly speaking, Sigil of Flame, for those of you that don't know, Sigil of Flame apparently is going to become a Demon Hunter staple. Or it's going to be baked in with the Demon Hunter class now. It's going to be a base ability. I'm not sure if it's going to be for the Havoc. I don't see it there, but it could very well be. I don't know. So yeah, Sigil of Flame is now a baseline ability. So that has changed. Metamorphosis, now without the talents, or without Rush of Chaos, is going to be a 3-minute CD. They did change these. They're ultimately, I feel, going to be changes for the better. It's going to give us more defensives on demand as we need. So that's going to be very much so beneficial to see. They also changed some talents around that used to be like 1 or 2 point talents. Now are completely just 1 point talents. So, as you can see now, we are starting out with Sigil of Misery as now a base skill for Havoc, or for Vengeance. This is massive. It gives us a CD without having to spec into it. As it sits, for most of my gameplay, I have not worried about using Sigil of Misery because it just doesn't do anything nice for me, and it's there, but I didn't go down to get it because it used to be right underneath Precise Sigils, or better yet, no. So it used to be right underneath Precise Sigils, right here where Illidari Design is, which used to be further down in the tree as well. So some of the things that they changed is that now we get Sigil of Misery right off the bat if you're a Vengeance. If you're Havoc, you still get right off the bat Vengeful Retreat. Both are very good, or both are very nice now to see that we're getting another Sigil instead of Sigil of Flame, and they're sort of baking Sigil of Flame into the Demon Hunter core base as it sits. It's sort of like the Infernal Strike and all that. So it's really nice to see that this is now a given ability over having talent for it. Now, that being said, there are a lot of different abilities now that play into utilizing Sigil of Flame, which is going to be a real game changer to our play style, I feel. Because as it sits, at least for me, I was always using Sigil of Flame. I usually kept it on CD, yes. But that being said, I kept it on CD and just kind of went if I didn't get it pressed in time, because it was just to fill my, or it was just to help me generate my Fury, since it was a 30 Fury generator, which case it still is, but now it's got a massive overhaul done to it. So that's very nice. So Shattering Resolve on baseline, it was a 2-point talent, giving you 10% at 2, 5% at 1. Now it is a single rank talent, meaning that you can spec into that, and you're not going to, and it's just 1 point that you're sinking in. So that's very nice. Now, you of course need to get with your, or you'll probably end up taking Blazing Path, just because with how the tree is sort of locked. Blazing Path is just giving you the second charge of Infernal Strike. After that, depending on how the raid situation is, or how everything is going to situate, you will most likely get improved Disrupt, 10 points to your, or an additional 10 range to your melee variant of your Disrupt. Very nice. And now, depending on how you want to go about getting this will be a talent you will probably end up getting. You may say, I don't need Imprison if you're running Raid, in which case I'm going to show you the Raid build here. You probably won't need Imprison. Sigil of Misery probably won't help you too much in Raid either, so it is kind of a shame to see that we're getting that as a baseline talent instead of saying, oh, I don't know, something like Elysian Decree or something like along those lines as a baseline instead. Because one, you're giving the Havocs off the bat a damaging one, and one that removes snares for free. Instead, you're giving us Sigil of Misery, which case, if the new raid has a lot of CC control that needs to be happening, then by all means, Sigil of Misery will be amazing. I'm not sure about the new coming up dungeons. You might see it being utilized. So do look to see about that in the coming. I'm not sure how much the Sigil of Miseries and all that are going to take place. So that's going to be interesting. Now, Unrestrained, you're probably already going to take these two just because Unrestrained Fury increases your Fury cap from 100 to 120, making that you can Spirit Bomb or Soul Cleave a heck of a lot more. So yeah, you'll probably end up taking that. And then you're going to come grab Improved Disrupt. Now, here is where it's going to seemingly get, I can foresee taking Pursuit and Felfire Haste and coming down to pick this up in something, say, Mythic Plus, where you need to go fast. But in Raid, you will probably end up seeing yourself take Disrupting Fury. So this way, as you interrupt things, you gain Fury. My guess is you'll maybe take Consume Magic to acquire that one, therefore allowing you to get Charred Warblades. And then you're gonna probably want to take one of the augments to your sigils, either concentrated or precise. Both of these are placed at your feet, placed at your target's location. Now, in raid, it'll really depend on the fight, I will say. If, let's say, you're in a multi-target situation, you may want to see about switching to the concentrated sigil, or not even taking one of these two and taking Lost in Darkness. That being said, these two are extremely strong just because they give you an additional 2 seconds on your Sigil of Flame, your Sigil of Silence if you need that, your Sigil of Misery. You just have to be proactive in where you're needing to place them. I always take Precise because I like dropping it right at my target's feet. I will probably also be taking Illachari Design just so I have that extra parry chance. If you don't know already, the Demon Hunter is based around parrying the attacks, not so much blocking, or that they're based upon parrying and evading or dodging. So like this, having this increased parry chance is going to be nice. Infernal Armor, just because that increases your armor once again by 20%, and apparently you also increase your damage by it. I think that's new. Give me 30 seconds. Nope, that's the same. So, and then taking Will of the Illidari, which increases your maximum health. Now here I'm not 100% sure, like having Aura of Pain, which used to be a shared talent with Fellblade, and most likely we're going to take Fellblade, though it keeps telling me to try this again later. I don't know why. I'm not sure if that one might be just one that they give to you once you unlock it. I have no clue. So yeah, I'll probably end up taking Fellblade, and then probably end up taking Master of the Glaive. So it's going to have 2 Glaive tosses, because that'll come in handy later on down, and not to mention it's a 50% snare. So if you need to snare enemies, you lob your Glaive in, you're good to go. Then I'm going to take Soul Rendering and Illidari Knowledge, as well as Demonic. Now, Demonic has changed from retail as well, at least in looking at the PTR. Demonic used to be you entered demon form for 6 seconds. It also used to share a talent slot with the first of the Illidari. Well, no one was taking the first of the Illidari because the 10%, having the demon form more or less on a minute cooldown for 5 seconds was kind of nice. And now with some of the changes, that's even got better. So this one will be a must for most Demon Hunter tanks, I'm going to say. Because I don't look for you to not want this one. 5 seconds of meta is still 5 seconds where your health is increased by 50% and your armor is increased by 200%. So as you can see, those are my primary 3 to get me down into the capstone area. Now I've got like 2 points I've got to play around with. I'm not sure why it kept telling me about an internal error, and as you can see, my points aren't changing whenever I pick it, so I'm wondering if this might be a bug right now. So for the sake of purposes, let's just say that we have 1 point we need to spend, because I think this might be a glitch. Now, here you can either go with Live by the Glaive. When you parry an attack, you have one of your attacks parried, or have one of your attacks parried, meaning that if you parry or you get parried, you restore 2% of your max life, your max health, and fury. And fury by 10. That is actually pretty strong, come to think of it, and it would get you down into here. Now, if this isn't a bug, and even if it's not, I'm probably not going to take Aura and Pain. Increasing the MO crit chance, to me, just seems sort of like a wasted of talent. Like, I take it right now because I don't like how Fellblade is, but I do like Fellblade. I do like Fellblade, but I just never took a lot of the move, or I didn't take a lot of the momentum pieces for the build of the Vengeance Demon Hunter to make Fellblade uh, extraordinary. I would probably say I'd take Chaos Nova, and even if I don't take Fellblade, I'd probably still take Chaos Nova over Fellblade, just because having a stun on a minute CD is nice. And then I would just work down from there, grabbing Darkness, Rush of Chaos, which is now a 2 talent one. It used to be 1, or 2 talent, or a rank 2 talent set instead of a 1 rank. But however, this makes it to where meta is now on a 2-minute CD. So to speak, they took meta. They gave us the 60 seconds, so to speak, reduction from Burst of the Illidari, and just didn't give us the versatility, which is still kind of nice, because once again, we have a 2-minute CD that increases our life by 50% and increases our armor by 200%. So that is extremely nice. And I would take Darkness in a raid situation. Otherwise, or in like a one-on-one fight with a boss or something, I'd take Darkness just to give your raid that little bit of utility. Like if a mechanic requires them to stack on you, you can help mitigate some of the damage that the raid's gonna take. Otherwise, take Soul Sigil, which afflicted an enemy with a sigil generates 1 lesser soul fragment. Kind of nice. Then I would take the Hunt, of course, because the Hunt allows us to kind of jettison our way into combat and not worry about, or allows us to get into combat quick. This is an ability I typically use on the pull, so it's really kind of nice there. So that's really nice to have. You gotta think, as you're counting down, or as your raid leader yourself, you're counting down from like 10, and then once you hit that 2, you pop the Hunt, and you burst right into combat, and it does great, or it has a decent amount of damage. It's a dot damage. It roots enemies that may be able to be rooted. And they also damage, or it also has a dot effect over time. And your healing is increased by, or you heal 25% of the damage you deal to your hunted targets, your hunt target. So that's just really nice. It's nice to see that they decided to remove Unnatural Malice and Relentless Pursuit. Like, if the only reason why I took Unnatural Malice was just because I wanted to increase the hunt's damage over time, and as it sits, it looks like they already rolled that into the hunt already. So that's really nice. And Uncontrolled or Relentless Pursuit just reduced the CD of the hunt by 12 seconds. So it's nice to see that this is now capstone over the augments to the hunt. Now that being said, would go with Internal Struggle, just increase your mastery by the 3%. Then come down here, and this will be more or less, I'm gonna say, probably by our choice as we want. So as it sits, on retail, you're already taking Collective Anguish, which summons a Havoc Demon Hunter beside you to cast I-Beam while you're casting Feldev. They changed it to share a talent slot with Fodder to the Flame. Really nice to see this. I would strongly recommend taking Fodder to the Flame if you're Vengeance. Now, if you're Havoc, you may decide that you're going to take Anguish because that gives you a little bit more burst damage out of I-Beam than you naturally would have. But this one, it yeah, this one, even with Havoc, I'd imagine that you want to go Fodder to the Flame just because it allows you to, one, okay, I'm not too concerned on that first person. Throw Glaive is fatal to this demon that it spawns. It heals you for 20%, and increases your damage by 20%. I don't know why they bothered to put that granting 20% increased damage for 15 seconds when, if you look at your spell book, go to Demon, Vengeful Retreat, Torment, Glide. Where is it? I could have swore it was in here. Okay, maybe it's in my... Yeah, right here. Shattering Souls. As you can see right at the clear bottom there, it says consume a demon soul will grant you 20% increased damage for 15 seconds. And I'm almost guaranteeing you yeah, Shattering Souls, it does the same thing. So I don't know why they bothered to put that in the tooltip, but hey, it's in the tooltip. So you will get your increased 20% damage from consuming a demon soul. Now, that being said, once again, as I said, I'm either taking Darkness or Soul Sigil depending on the needs. Now, I only have 3 points left. So, for those 3 points, I'm taking Quicken. Which case just makes it to where all sigils activate 1 second. 1 second faster. Meaning that my activates in a second. Because I'm just gonna throw 2 points in here to... Reason why I'm just doing this is to just see something. Okay, yeah. So it already took it into consideration. Let's remove that one. Remove that. Remove that. And where you remove... What other one did I add in? Oh, there it is. So take Quicken Sigil. It just makes it to where all your sigils activate in 1 second over activating in 2. Not sure why they haven't just made it that the sigils activate in 1 second, but it is what it is. Then Flames of Fury. Sigil of Flame deals 35% increased damage and generates 1 additional Fury per target hit. So this increases the Sigil of Flame's damage, which is, as you can see right now, very putrid. So I would sink at least 2 points into that. And we should see a jump in its damage here momentarily. Yeah, as you can see, now I'm up to 12,000 for damage. And it's damage over time effect. So overall, I do think that some of these changes are decent, and might I say that if this maintains throughout to retail, the ability to click and remove, but while maintaining all of the other ones below it, and then being able to select another one that way, that is majorly nice. That is extremely nice. So to speak, it makes it to where talents like Improve Disrupt, or not Improve Disrupt, like being able to switch between Consume Magic and Sigil of Misery, these two, over to these two if needed, is extremely nice. Now, once again, I don't know, it might be just a bug on retail, or on PTR, not retail, PTR, that you can select this one for free. I'm seeing an internal error, try again later, whenever I do it, so I don't know. Now, as you can see, my build here just really hasn't changed. The only thing I'm changing is, instead of having Fodder to the Flame down here, I'm taking... I just realized this build really did change, actually. So instead of having 2 points here, I managed to actually take the 2 points here, like I like. But I guess you could technically take that one, and that one out. go here, here, and here to get that. And then I need one additional point somewhere. Oh, let's go with Fel Flame Fortification, because I kind of like the idea of having Immo decrease our damage, or our magical damage, by 20%. But yeah, no, like, that would be, if you don't want to take these, which case I don't know why you wouldn't want to take those. They're like 1 point each. Come on, just take them. Then you can pick up that one. Remove that, and you can pick up something else. Or you can... Yeah, that's kind of nice to see. Sigil of Flame's initial damage is increased by 50%. Oh, interesting. See, I think Illuminated Sigils is great. I think it's in a bad location. Take Illuminated Sigils. It's good. Just take it and move it somewhere else. Make it more acceptable or more easily accessible to the player. Because, like, with this build, I don't bother even picking it up. I have Sigil of Chains now. Which I don't usually take because it usually was over here. But yeah, no, like, it seems like they were trying to do this whole, okay, yeah, we're going to buff Sigil of Flame because no one's using it, really, except for filler damage. And they just decided to sprinkle it in and not have it in decent locations. Like, down here, a good tank, if you're going down this route, you're not going to take Illuminated Sigils for that 20% increased chance to parry when an enemy is afflicted by your Sigil of Flame. You're just not. Unless you already have Ascending Flame and these other ones, Chains of Anger, Cycle of Binding. You're not going to bother with that. So, like, take Illuminated, or for me at least, and this wouldn't change it too much if they want to come down and pick up this talent anyway. Take Illuminated Sigils. Blizzard, if you're watching, please take Illuminated Sigils and maybe move it to share the same one with Sigil of Chains. Because I can guarantee, or at least for myself, I'm not taking Sigil of Chains over Illuminated Sigils. But as it sits, unless you're building with the Fiery Brand where you can play around with these two talents, you're not going to touch Illuminated Sigils just because you have Down in Flames. Which means that your Fiery Brand is going to be a 45-second CD, and it has 2 charges. Oh, yeah, okay, I can have 20% while an enemy is afflicted by your Sigil of Flame. Now the question is, does that stack with having multiple applications? Like, does it stack with multiple applications? That would be the question I would have. If that is the case, then okay, I would still recommend not having it on with Down in Flames, because Down in Flames just doesn't help anyone. Or Down in Flames is going to be taken more times than not than Illuminated Sigils. Well, the new tier piece, yes, does play into playing with Sigils. But the big thing is, or with your Sigil of Flame, but the big thing is that it plays into playing with the Sigils, but does it affect, or will it really affect me having an additional charge of Sigil, or of my Sigil, of all of my Sigils? Like, as it sits right now, I'd lose out on my Last Resort. And my Feed the Demon, which really helps out. So, like, let's just say for an instant here, because this would be the route I would end up taking. Oh, I can't even pick that up because it's too many talent points. 1, 2, okay. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, it's too many talent points to try to come pick, or there we are. I picked it up. But it's one of those things that I'm losing out on my Dark Boon Glare or my Retaliation Spikes. Actually, let's go ahead and do this. So it's one of those things that I like having my extended spikes, of course. But I don't see where I could maybe swap this out, go there, take that one since I'm not already taking it, and using that. Let's see. Let's see how this works. If it is indeed all sigils. Sigil skills have an extra charge. I don't see that. I don't see the extra charge. Where is the extra charge at? I don't see it. Oh, Sigil of Chains has 2 charges, but Sigil of Silence doesn't. Sigil of Flame doesn't, and Sigil of Misery doesn't. Really? That is mind-boggling. So quite literally, Sigil of Chains is the only one that gets the 20% or gets 2 charge. Or no, it doesn't even get that. Blizzard. What? What is going on? What is going on? Why does my sigils not have 2 charges? You know what? Bring back Abyssal Strike. You're wanting to play with more sigil-based combat. Bring back Abyssal Strike. Of course, this area was going to be so let's see. Now maybe it would change with the differences with the having the tier set. But right now as it sits, this is but yeah, no, I'm seeing it as a bug right now. Yeah. Okay. Let's stop. It is as of right now apparently a bug. You do not have. Let me double check here. I do want to. So, yeah, I'm going to do some looking. I will make sure anything that I find is uploaded into a comment on this video. But as of right now, this is Sniper. I'm signing off. See you guys all later.